Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you do not know, my name is Hallie, and in today's video, we are going to be discussing all of the 5-star reads I've had so far this year. Now, somehow I've read around 65 books this year, and I'm not even sure how that's possible or what came over me because I obviously have school to balance, so I'm not really sure how this happened, but I'm not complaining because I love reading and hearing or reading about all the stories and escaping into the world. So I'm not even sure how that happened, but I am not complaining and I am also not very picky. So if I have lots of 5-star reads, I'd say, but that's because I'm not picky. And if I get those good vibes, then I'm rating it 5 stars. So let's get into it. So first off, I am going to be talking about the Zodiac Academy series, which I rated the first one 4 stars, maybe 5 stars, I don't know. But that was in 2024. And the second one I read in 2024, but I read from the third one and up in 2025, and I rated the third one 5 stars. Like, I love the third one. The third one is my absolute favorite. It is so good. And I also rated the fourth one, the fifth one, the sixth one, and the seventh one 5 stars, but not the eighth and ninth. Those were both 4 stars, but the other ones were 5 stars. And I just love this series. It is my top favorite series of all time, and I'm not going to tell you what like the third one is about, but I'm just holding it because I didn't want to hold all the other ones. But essentially, in the first one, we're following these twins, Darcy and Tori, and they are living in the human world, but they are from Solaria, which is like the Fae world, and they are the lost princesses of the Fae world. And so, in the beginning of the book, this guy comes and he's like, I'm here to bring you back to Solaria and where you can try to reclaim your throne. And they are at first like, we don't want the throne, but they realize that if they do go through all of their schooling and everything, they will get money. And where they live in the human world, they aren't in the best conditions. So they're like, okay, we'll just go through this in order to do that and get the money for it. But as it turns out, there are these 4 heirs, and they do not want the twins there because the heirs are the heirs of the Celestial Council, and the council is what is running Solaria instead of like the king and queen, who are Darcy and Tori's parents. And so the heirs are like, they're not welcome here because we're supposed to be the ones running it. And so they essentially bully the twins, trying to get them to leave, and you follow along the storyline. And yeah, it just grows from there. The series is not what I expected it to be, and I loved every single second of it. I loved the emotional roller coaster you go on, and I could not put it down. So yeah, this was definitely 5-star material. Next up, I joined the bandwagon of reading Onyx Storm when everyone else was the day it came out, and of course I loved it. I loved everything about it. I hated the ending though because I did not want it to end, and it's crazy to think that the next one could come out as early as 2027, and that's the year I graduate. So I just think that's crazy, like that I will be done with school by that point. Anyway, this is the 3rd book in the Empyrean series, and we are following, of course, Violet in her adventures and from Fourth Wing and Iron Flame and on. So I'm not gonna get too deep into it because I feel like Fourth Wing is very popular, but yeah, read this one, gave it 5 stars, loved it so much. Next, we have Play Along, which is my 2nd favorite book in the Windy City series. I'm going to talk about my first favorite later on in the video just because it's farther down in the stack. But this follows Isaiah and Kennedy, and Kennedy is one of the trainers on the baseball team that Isaiah plays on, and he has always been obsessed with her. He just has always had a crush on her, but she was married, and now she is not married anymore. And so Isaiah has his chance, and it turns out this happens before the book even starts, but get married in Vegas drunkenly. So now you go throughout the book, you go with them while they're navigating this, and it turns out it ends up being like marriage of convenience once they are married. And so yeah, I loved it. I love Isaiah. I love Kennedy. She's such a strong character, and yeah, I just love this book. And I love the whole Windy City series too. Next up was the first dark romance book I've ever read, and I read God of Malice, which I really jumped in the deep end. I did not just go out there slowly. I jumped right in, and I rated this based on like a different scale than the other books, but I thought it was good. I had a good time. I wasn't looking for anything like substantial. I just thought it was good. And then I also read God of Pain in between. That wasn't 5 stars, but I read God of Wrath, and this one was also 5 stars because I just really liked it, and I thought the things that Jeremy Volkov did, like just some of the comforting things he did for the main character when she is experiencing the trauma she has. I just thought that was kind of sweet, even though it's such a dark book. Yeah, and then next up we have Say You Swear, and I felt all the emotions during this book. I had all the feels. This includes happy, sad, shocked, confused, looking at the page like, what did I just read? Am I sure I just read that? Where is the plot going? What is going on? But essentially, this book follows Ariana, and she has a twin brother. She's in love with his best friend. And the best friend is like, we cannot do this. Like, I can't be with you because your brother would be so mad at me. And so then they get together, but they have like a one night stand, but then he changes his mind and he's like, no, like we can't do this. And so then you just follow the story along, and then she meets Noah Riley, and that man is so kind to her, and he just does such sweet things for her. And I definitely think you should read this book for an entertaining time and just for all that it gives you, because it gives you a lot. Next, this one took me by surprise. I did not think I would love Daydream as much as I did. And this book is Daydream by Hannah Grace. And in this, we are following Hallie and Henry. And Hallie is like the eldest daughter. She's she can't say no. She's always doing things for other people. And she's basically trying to navigate how to keep making other people happy while also prioritizing herself and what she wants. And in comes along Henry, who is the new captain of the hockey team. And he is also trying to navigate this thing because he is an overthinker. He's constantly worrying about how like other people are thinking of him and being the captain. Yeah, so he's trying to navigate all of this with all of his feelings, and he's focusing way too much on being the captain, and he's letting some of his school slip. So in comes Hallie, and she starts helping him with this class, and that's how they just meet, and they start like forming their relationship. And I just think it's so sweet. In this book, I just found myself gravitating to like wanting to reread it when I was reading it. And I just, when I get that feeling, I know like this is such a good book and I'm loving it. And I love the cover. I love how it's purple. Hallie reminded me a lot of myself. And so that's probably why this book was more special to me as a 5-star. Like, not everyone is going to rate it 5 stars, but yeah, for me, it was a 5-star and it was a hit. Then I read Culty by Mariana Zapata, and I loved this book. I love Mariana Zapata. This was the second Mariana Zapata I had read. I read Lukov with Love before this and loved that one and got the same feelings, but I don't remember that one as well as this. But I love this book. In this book, we're following Sal, and she is a professional soccer player. And growing up, she always played soccer, and her idol was this famous guy named Culty. She finds out he's now her soccer coach, her new soccer coach. And so we basically follow them as they're navigating this journey. And he's very standoffish and grumpy. And I love Mariana Zapata's slow burns. I love this book so much. I love the little crumbs we get of like the romance and how it just takes forever. And I eat that up. I love it so much. Of course, this book was 5 stars. It gave me those authentic 5-star feelings. It's so good. Next up, I read Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, and I just love Emily Henry's writing. Happy Place is one of my all-time favorite reads ever, and so of course I was so excited for Great Big Beautiful Life, and I had heard that it was different from her typical reads, but I loved it. In this book, we're following Alice and Hayden, and they are both writers, but Alice is more of an up and coming writer. She's not as popular as Hayden. And so there is this lady named Margaret, and she is the heiress of this famous family who was really popular and like big in the media back in the day. And so now both Hayden and Alice want to write Margaret's story. And so they both go to Margaret, and Margaret comes up with this idea that they will have this competition to where they will both interview her, and whoever writes the best like first part or whatever, then they get to write the whole story. And so they're basically competing, and we get to see the way Alice and Hayden's relationship grows, while also their relationships with Margaret and what Margaret is going through in her story. And I love the blend of it. I loved everything about it. I love Emily Henry's writing. I just thought this book was really good. Next up, I think this is out of order because I read Funny Story first before Great Big Beautiful Life came out, but Funny Story took me by surprise because I didn't think I would love it as much as I did. I originally rated it 4 stars, but I think about it all the time. I think about how Emily Henry's writing is so amazing to where she connects the information from the very first page to the last page of the book, and that just shows the character growth in such a just amazing way to me. Like, I just loved it so much. And so in this book, we're following Daphne and Miles, and essentially what happens is Daphne's fiance, Peter, he cheats on her with Miles's girlfriend. And so Daphne now is like, okay, well, I need a place to live, and Miles has an empty bedroom. So what happens is Daphne moves out of Peter's house and moves in with Miles, and they're just like coexisting until one day they like start to talk to each other, and they start to grow this like friendship, and then their friendship could lead to other things, who knows. But yeah, it's just so amazing. I love her writing. Like I just said, I love how her writing makes me feel, and how we just go through the characters' lives, and her characters aren't necessarily do the most likable things, and I think that just makes them real, and because people don't do the most likable things all the time. And so yeah, I just think that's good book. Next up, we have Wait for It by Mariana Zapata, and of course this one was 5 stars too. I didn't expect to like this one as much as I did, but again, I loved it. I can't choose between which one I like more, between Culty and Wait for It. And of course that happened because in this book we're following Sal's cousin, Diana, and Diana has ownership or guardianship of her 2 nephews. And so she's essentially a single mom, and she's raising her nephews, and she moves to this new area, and she's just trying to navigate all of this and navigating how to put like her nephew in the baseball team. And I just loved the connection between her and the main character and everything that happens, and I was just like eating up all the crumbs again. I just loved it so much. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say anything else because I didn't really go into it knowing anything else. So yeah, I love this book. I love Mariana Zapata. I can't wait to read more of her books. And now here, I'm going to talk about my favorite book in the Windy City series, which is Rewind It Back by Liz Tomforde or Tomfordy. I don't know which one it is. I've heard it pronounced both ways. But anyway, this is my favorite one. I was so excited when this book came out, and I found I was in a little slump before that, but I found myself so excited to just pick this book back up every day when I read it. And in this book, we are following Rio and Hallie, and we know that it is a second chance romance. They were childhood friends to lovers, and then we know throughout the book that something happened to make them break up. And then Hallie like in the future, Hallie is now Rio's neighbor because he's a professional hockey player and he lives in Chicago like all the other ones, and she's now his neighbor, and she is also his interior designer for his house to see if he wants to sell his house. And so they just go through the process of reconnecting and rekindling their relationship, and then we eventually figure out like why the relationship didn't go as planned and why they broke up, and essentially as how all second chance romance goes, I feel like. But yeah, I love this book. I love their story. I loved everything about it. It holds such a special place in my heart. Like, Play Along was my favorite, and this just topped it. I love it so much. Next up, we have Deep End, which is very controversial. I feel like I've seen people absolutely love it, and then people absolutely hate it. But I'm on the end where I absolutely loved it. I love Ali Hazelwood's writing. She is one of my favorite authors. I think maybe my favorite author. I loved The Love Hypothesis, but the other ones after that, I just wasn't as excited to read them. But after I read this one, I was like, I need more. I need more of her work because I miss it. And I just knew this was a 5-star, and I just flew through it. But essentially, in this book, we are following Scarlett and Lucas, and they get together because Lucas is dating her friend Penelope, which is weird. But Penelope throws out this idea that Lucas and Scarlett should get together or hook up because they have the same kinks. And so that happens, but Scarlett is also a diver in college, and Lucas is on the swim team. And so Scarlett is going through this thing where she can't do her dive because when she did it the last time, she got very severely injured. And so now she's trying to navigate how to get back to doing the dive. And I loved the book. I was here for the vibes. I loved it. Like I said, love the writing. I also love how Ali Hazelwood writes academic people and just seeing like all of that, because I just think it's so interesting and something I don't see in other books. So yeah, loved Deep End. And then the next 5-star was also Ali Hazelwood's new release. I ran to the bookstore the day this came out. I was like, I need it. So this is Problematic Summer Romance. In this one, we are following Maya and Hark, and Hark is Maya's older brother's best friend, and so that is causing problems in their relationship. And Hark is also I think he might be 15 years older than Maya, and so he has a really big problem with the age gap between them, and so that's basically a lot of the problem in the book. But I loved the book. I loved following along with the characters. It is set in Italy because Maya's brother, which is the main guy character in Not in Love, this is set when Maya's brother is getting married, and so it is a destination wedding in Italy, and obviously Maya and Hark have to be there. And so the story flashes back to the past and then now to figure out why Maya and Hark are like not wanting to see each other at the moment, because they were really close before, and you get hints about them being close like in Not in Love. So yeah, I just love the book. Like I said, I love her writing. I always fly through her books, and yeah, it's just my favorite. Now we have 2 more. We have Beartown by Fredrik Backman. He is a new author to me. I've only read one other of his books, which was A Man Called Ove. Love that one too. Rated that one 4 stars, but Beartown was so good. I did not know what to expect going into this, and I absolutely loved it. Like, it exceeded all expectations. I love how Fredrik Backman's writing, he like says something and then in the later end of the chapter he'll tie it back into what he first said, and it's just so clever and so good. And even like early on in the story, he'll tie something he said back in early on to the very last page, and I'm just like, wow, like so good. And I'm just gonna say this book follows a hockey town and the relationships of the hockey town, and how this one town, which is Beartown, just relies so much on the hockey team, and their feelings and everything rely on it. And that's not going to tell you much, but I just think you need to read it because It's so good, so impactful, and makes you really think about what is happening in the book. And also search up trigger warnings because heavy topics are discussed. Now we're going to talk about the most recent 5-star read of the year so far, which is none other than this chunk, which is City of Gods and Monsters in the House of Devils series by Kayla Edwards. And I loved this. I found myself just like so excited to read, when you know that feeling when you're like doing something else and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get home and just read my book. That is the feelings I got from this book, and I loved it. I loved just how the story progressed and how Kayla Edwards wrote the story. And I love the two main characters in this one, Loren and Darian Castle. And we are following Loren, and she is human in this world where there is just mystical creatures like werewolves, vampires, angels, witches, dark slayers. And her and her two friends are walking home one night, and these guys come up and they are trying to get Loren, and instead they get one of her friends. And so we go through the story trying to figure out why these people are after Loren, and here comes none other than Darian Castle to the rescue, because he is assigned to get Loren also. So he's wondering, why does everyone want this human girl when she shouldn't be this important? And so he teams up with her to keep her safe, while also they work together to figure out what is going on and why she's so special. And I just loved it so much, and I can't wait to read the rest. And that is all the 5-star reads I've had so far this year. I'm not quite sure what the math is, what percentage that is of the books I've read that have been 5 stars, but yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, like, comment, and subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!